Welcome to Woo New, a show that explores healing and the expansion of our consciousness.
Where we explore all kinds of different energy modalities, therapies, and ideas that bring us closer to our collective liberation.
I'm Ellen, and I'm a journey work guide.
I'm Sam, and I am an integrative energy therapist.
And together, we are the co-creators of We Are All Daughters,
a quantum healing space dedicated to helping us reconnect to ourselves, our bodies, each other, and the universe.
Today we have a really special guest with us. Her name is Sheri Salata. She is a transformation doula, and the reason why this is such a special conversation is because Sheri and us, Sam and I, have known each other in a past iteration of who we are. Back when we were in the agency world, back when Sheri was part of the Oprah network, working very closely with Oprah for over 20 years. And I had the honor of working with her back then and knowing Sheri in that capacity. And then having the universe just quite magically bring us back into connection over the last year into this healing space that we're both occupying now. And there really are no words that can express my gratitude for this connection and just the wonder and the awe at how it has unfolded and just continues to unfold and deepen. So thank you so much, Sheri, for being with us today. I'm so excited to dig in with you.
I know, same. I'm so glad to be with you both. And I have to say, I too, it just is further proof how mystical and magical this life experience can be.
Oh my gosh, 100%.
It's so exciting to see somebody that can understand really like these different lives we lead in just these one lifetimes, you know, who can see all this transformation and really resonate with that space of sort of reclaiming yourself.
Yeah. And you couldn't have told us then at the time.
No.
Can you imagine? We'd have been like, what?
I know.
What kind of crazy talk is that?
Absolutely. I think that's why, even I'm getting chills now, even as I'm thinking back to this kind of like this path and this journey. There is no telling what can happen. And I think it just really speaks to the fact that like when you allow the universe to hold you and to carry you, and you start to really open up to all these energies and open yourself up to receive, I think it's like possibilities are truly endless. And I'm just so grateful.
Same.
Yeah, leap and the universe will catch you.
100%. So you've gone through this incredible transformation in your own life that had led you to create and write this book and create this offering called your support group. We want to start maybe not at the very beginning, but just almost, if you were to take a look at your life over the past 5 years.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh.
What are those milestones? Yeah.
Well, this whole, tangled road. I was consciously unconscious in a way. And yet I had a front row seat. I worked at the Oprah Show for, decades, for years. And I had been taking notes, the thought leaders, the experts, and I really credit that experience with like I was paid to build a spiritual life, but things really took off when I left. And it is because there was so much left to heal, so much left. So these last 5 years, I would say initially it was, it began in 2016 with an understanding that I needed to do a reckoning, that I was at the, I was on the mountain. I hit the career mountaintop, and I was like, okay, is this it? Which,
yeah, like now what?
yeah, which really is the cautionary tale for anybody who's a striver or an achiever, that I literally would, didn't rest until I found, the career I really wanted. And I didn't start at the Oprah Show till I was 35. So I'd had, 15 jobs before then, and really trying to nail it, trying to figure it out in almost like a chaotic frenzy, really. And then, it's like, oh my God, purpose, glamour, excitement, all rolled into one. But there were some underlying things that I could not untangle for myself until I left, and then did a real reckoning and said, oh my gosh, I've built this dream come true career, but not a dream come true life. And what I began to realize is that I had a very convoluted, I had a misalignment between the energy of achievement and worthiness. Those concepts were intertwined for me in a way that they shouldn't have been, because we're worthy just because. We're worthy just because. It isn't because of anything. And, gosh, that might have started with the little me getting, my first report card and seeing the validation and mistaking that for love.
Totally.
So then pretty soon it's like, unless you're achieving, you're not lovable. And so then at the very summit of achievement, where, and nobody would argue with me that, wow, you have done it. It was like, why do I still don't feel worthy or lovable? What's going on here? And so I would say the last 5 years has been a personal journey of healing and recovering and transformation and renewal and expansion and revisioning, that also took my career along with it. And so I have that inner integration now that I knew was possible, but I just wasn't able to pull together. I'm living that now.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing that. I feel like so many people can resonate with that feeling of just like, how come something's missing?
Yeah.
Was there something that, I'm so curious, because both Sam and I also experienced that kind of what's next, or what else is there? Is this it kind of moment?
Yeah.
And for me, I feel like it was a slow, gradual burn that became excruciating, and it was on a spiritual level for sure, but it was also on a physical level too, within my body, where I started realizing that I was having shortness of breath and I couldn't breathe. Like I felt suffocated, literally. So I'm curious if there was something that suddenly happened for you that made you sort of wake up to, is this it? Or was it a gradual sort of thing that you came to?
No, I mean, it was really, it was gradual. And I would describe mine the same way. A slow burn, not really wanting to admit my own unhappiness, because how could you be unhappy?
Right.
By that time I was living in LA full time, could go anywhere, like my diner was, like I got to go to the good stuff. And yet I could feel, I felt depressed. I was feeding this hole. And so I was like, God, I know my health isn't good. I can feel that. But also this feeling of disconnection from my own spirit, just this disconnection, this emptiness. And then, like often has happened with me in my life, how it manifests is you stop wanting to get out of bed, like, and I say that what I realized is I had set my compass at misery. So I was only willing to make a change when I was miserable. Instead, of setting my compass to happiness and making those little moves all the time that make it easy to choose happiness. So yeah, same. And then it's like, then when I move away and clear the decks and take a look, I'm like, oh my God, it's worse than I thought. Oh my God, it's so much worse than I thought. And one of the things that was so interesting, this is not an experience everybody has, but a dear friend who was a legendary book agent got me a book contract with a major publisher to write my memoir. And then, I sit down to write it as I'm having this very reckoning and realizing that, well, nobody wants to hear your fluffed up thing. You're going to have to tell the truth about how you feel and where you're at this point of your life. And it wasn't pretty. It's probably why it took me 2 years to do it. Wow. Because there was a real reckoning going on inside of me.
There must have been so therapeutic, though, to go through the process of really digging in and uncovering all of that.
Yes, because I was, Sheri, too busy for so long.
Yeah.
I was just too busy and probably not really wanting to see.
Yeah.
Not really wanting to see what was driving me, where I was miscreating, how I wasn't taking care of myself. Everything kind of got smudged over to my someday list. Yeah, no, I can't wait to have a yoga practice someday. I can't wait to do this someday. I can't wait to meditate regularly someday. Because I literally, I was in that a culture of urgency.
Yes.
For so long and mistaking anxiety for the life force.
God, fueled by anxiety is exactly what I was thinking when you were telling that story. I was
we start and we think that's the life force. Yeah, totally. Things are moving, shaking, things are happening. No, it's anxiety. It is unmanaged anxiety that you're going to have to deal with. That piper's going to have to be paid down the road. So what then began to happen as that was unfolding, because yes, you're right. Writing my memoir was very ultimately, when I got through the fits and starts of it, was very therapeutic. And then having to go out and talk to people about it, very therapeutic, because, obviously you're bringing light to shame, because all your shame's in there too. And now you're connecting with people and you realize the roof's not going to fall on your head. So you're able to sort of put your shame in your arms and hold it to your chest and realize, you've done the best you could. And that, my friends, is the beginning of what has felt like spiritual pioneering and exploration on steroids for me.
Wow.
I find it so interesting. Like your book, there's always that thing. I always feel like everybody has that one thing that the universe throws in your path that becomes the catalyst for your healing, Yeah. And I think for Sam and I, it was this business. We Are All Daughters. Like we didn't have a name for it. I had like a little niggle of I think we need to build a self-care company, and
the questions, remember the questions? Everybody was like, what's self-care?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And we were asking the same questions too, because we had no idea what the hell that was, because we were in that hustle as well. We were in the anxiety, and essentially this was the antidote for us to feel better and to heal. But I don't even think at that time we had no concept of what self-healing really was.
Or even any concept of where we needed healing. Like, holy moly, that hole was big.
Yeah. And like, I think building this business together and like agreeing, like we left the agency and the next day we went to the lawyers and signed partnership papers. It was like so cart before the horse, but in hindsight, I think it was so divine the way I think the universe like hitched us together and was like, you guys are contractually going to be healing together and walking this path together. And building that business became our catalyst for healing that led to all these different modalities that we tried. So I'm curious, as you started to heal and as you started to kind of become conscious, what were the modalities that you first went to, or what are the ones that I would say like kind of made the biggest impact right away?
Yeah. Well, what made the biggest impact right away before I really dove into modalities was excavating a tenderness toward my own self. You know, I kind of knew that you're not going to be able to reimagine, revision, rebuild this second half of your life, this next big portion, if you're going to be mean, if you're going to judge yourself and be harsh with yourself. Those days are over, because you're not going to respond to it. You're just going to fearfully go back into your cave. If you want to really take a look at things, you're going to have to be super tender. So that became like the basis of a new idea of self-care, which is loving myself, being, and not just like in a Hallmark card kind of way, but for, you know, like requiring myself to be tender, to be gentle, putting my hands on my heart 10 times a day, soothing myself, coaching myself. And ultimately where that began to kind of expand was, I've always been a person who's super spiritually curious. So to like start, you know, I did a week of detoxing, a fast detox out in the desert at We Care, which is a heralded place out near Palm Springs. And you know, so I'm with the shaman at a burn ceremony, and, you know, like really understanding, like reconnecting to the mysticism of life, the things we don't understand, the quantum field. And so that's gone on. So listen, guys, I would not say I've done everything. I would say I've really sampled, like whether I'm talking to intuitives, you know, sessions with both of you have been a part of my journey, because, and here's what I love about it. The result, how I feel after is great. The information I glean from those sessions, great. But really, the biggest thing, it just reminds me that it's like these human lives of ours, we're like icebergs. The part you can see is so little.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And,
totally.
and there's this enormous part of ourselves, I say inadequately, I use that word, that is unknowable. It's unseeable. But you can, if you tap into this, you can start to feel this mystical quantum energy that is holding us, guiding us when we let it, you know, creating synchronicities, bringing us back on each other's paths when we're all in a different place, what that looks like, what that can mean. I mean, it is crazy.
It really is. It's magical. I keep on using that word, but I feel like there is no other word for it. It really is. There's nothing rational. You can't rationalize this out. It really is just so, it's cosmic.
No. And let me tell you this one story. This just happened like maybe an hour before we were ready to talk. And this is just an example of the practical magic and synchronicities that when you are in alignment and when you make that a priority can happen. So Monday, my cousin is my bookkeeper. God bless her. And so Amy and I are on the phone, and we're tearing through all these things for 2021. And, you know, she loves it. I'm like, oh, when are we going to be done? And we're trying to figure out, there was a couple air things that, you know, had to be traced and tracked because I changed it several times and we didn't write everything down. And what did I pay for those things? As you do when you run a business. And one of the things is I had used part of a credit from Air France on another trip, like to Italy. And I'm like, okay. And I go, I got to call my travel person. I got to call her. I got to call Deborah, and I got to go through these things and sort it out. So I said, hey, and what about that Air France thing? And she goes, oh, let me look into it. She literally called me an hour ago and said, you need to book a ticket today. You've got a $5,000 credit and it expires at 5 o'clock Pacific.
Shut the
What?
front door. Oh my
Do you hear
gosh.
me?
Oh my goodness.
$5,000 credit to Air France is going to expire
What?
that I booked in 2019 originally.
What?
Holy shit.
It's going to expire at 5 o'clock today Pacific. And I haven't thought about it. I didn't even know I had it.
Wow.
I'm just saying that is the mad, like, because I literally was like, oh, I can't even believe this. But, you know, the more I bask in the glorious synchronicity of even a little moment like this, it's just, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
How did that happen? That all these events unfolded in a way where, like, just an hour ago, I booked a ticket to Paris.
Oh my God.
Before
you
I lost
my song.
Before I lost $5,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. And that is, you know, it just, what I love about these knowings and even sharing them is like, those just keep piling up. How'd you know this? How'd this happen? How did you run into Ellen again? How'd that happen? How is, like, you know, like all the peeps that are reconnected from another life. And now all we want to talk about is soul.
Yes.
How's that happening?
Yes, I know.
You guys, how is that happening?
That's so true.
I remember this distinct, it was like maybe 2019 when this was happening, but I was sitting with all of my closest girlfriends. We had all grown up together in Houston and we were sitting in LA having lunch. We all somehow magically wound up in LA too, which was a whole other story. But I like stopped for a moment and I was just listening to the conversation and reflecting. And this is, you know, 2019, but I was even then reflecting like, oh my God, we are talking about spirituality and healing. These are topics we never talked about as a group, even though these are my closest girlfriends. It was always something completely, you know, either about the kids or, you know, something happening, but never talked about our souls, our healing and where we're at. It blew my mind. And I just remember sitting there smiling like, wow, this is where we're at now. It's so cool. Amazing.
It's so amazing. And don't you find this? So here is the truth. Get ready, everybody who's listening with us today, is that it becomes the only conversation you want to have.
Yeah.
And then pretty soon, sometimes the landscape of your lives, your people change. Mm-hmm. Your people change because not everybody wants to have this conversation.
Right.
And I'm not going to talk about small talk anymore. I'm not going to complain or gossip anymore.
Yeah.
So, you know, sometimes that means like hey, it's been great.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And now you have space for, you know, new relationships, new people. You know, if you would have told me I was going to be adding new people at this point, like I was like, I got my 5 people I don't need anymore for so long. You know, and yeah, so different.
I mean, it's so different. And you, I feel like, are literally kind of, it's like part of your calling, I feel like, to facilitate the connection of this soul tribe.
Which is so crazy.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I was behind a bunker and I'm like, these 5 people are the only ones I'm ever going to know. And then I go and found a membership group. You know, we're hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women.
Oh my God. Okay. So tell us all about that, your support group.
Well, I think here's what happened, you know, and I'm looking at this is the recent past. So I have a little bit of perspective about it, but clearly what's happened for me is, you know, my own healing and transformation, my wanting to reimagine my life for the rest of my life and really call in a whole new future, has also become my work. So it's like, I go out there and I say, well, who wants to come with me? Who wants to do it with me? And that ended up being, again, magic and synchronicity. Somebody, I was doing an interview and somebody said, you really need to do a 12-week course. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. And then she came back again. You really need to do a 12-week course. Thank you for your ideas. I won't be doing that. And she comes back again. And I'm thinking, you hardly know me. Why do you care what I'm going to be doing? And then I said, wait a second. Why are you resistant? Because generally I find now, anytime I feel a repeated resistance, it means it's something I definitely need to do.
Yes.
I definitely need to be super curious about. So I followed what has turned out to be her sage advice and started a 12-week course and said, hey, I wrote a memoir. I wrote about my own process. I've developed a 12-week program that'll walk you through it. I'll do it with you. We'll meet twice a week. And all of a sudden I had hundreds of people signing up.
Wow.
And so I'm like, okay, this is great. And as I was doing it, like 2 weeks in, I thought, oh, this is why I was born.
Wow.
It wasn't to run the Oprah show. That was just getting ready to be ready. This is why I was born. This is where I'm like totally on purpose and in stride. And then it was in the middle of that, like 6 weeks in, I'm like, oh, what am I going to do with these people? You know, when we're done, I just can't just say, see ya. Right. So then I'm like, well, why don't I found a membership group called the Support System to keep us on the path, on track, on the path of transformation. So I started that last April, and that has been amazing. And so it is just rolled into not me pushing boulders uphill, making things happen. It's more like following the divine feminine. Yes. And looking for the breadcrumbs. And the number one priority is my own work and my own transformation. And the more I stay in alignment on that, the more the opportunities reveal themselves.
Yeah.
And everybody wins. You know what I mean?
So profound. I mean, honestly, I was going and I was reading about some of what, you know, the people in your community have written about it. And I was nothing short of like so filled with love and gratitude, because it was like you could tell so deeply how much this community means to each of them, and how profound the connections they've made with each other have been. And it's like you have given them this gift by creating this space and this community to come together. I mean, it's really incredible.
And the gift is to me. I have to tell you, it's like I feel, and maybe you feel like this sometimes too. I'm really talking to myself.
Yeah.
I'm reminding myself, remember what you care about. Remember what matters to you. Remember the life you say you want. Remember what you know about how to get there. Come on now. And that becomes like what they're posting, what they're sharing. We're all talking to ourselves. And if it's helpful to one another, isn't that just great? And, you know, you guys, I got to say, I heard myself say this. I heard myself first say this in January. Somebody had asked me a question about, so how's life now compared to how it used to be? And I'm like, well, that's, I wrote a book about that. I mean, like, oh, that's a big question. But I'll answer this very succinctly. And I heard myself say, I have never been more on purpose nor happier in my life than I am right now.
Wow.
And I went, oh my God. Wow. Not only is that a nice turn of phrase, it's true. It's true. And now I'm going to tell you, every day since that day in January, that's been the happiest day of my life. And now today's the happiest day of my life, because everything has shifted. You know, everything has shifted. I am willing to live my life in a magical way. I'm willing to embrace the mystical and summon my own quantum power and call in my spirit team. And I'm just willing to open myself up to the mystery.
Yes.
I, as somebody who has facilitated for your group, your community, I just have to say that the love and compassion and support that is in this group, it is palpable, even for somebody who's coming in and just spending an hour and a half, you know, with this group of people. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like, it's so powerful. It's so powerful. And I'm like always constantly blown away each time I get invited in and I get to spend time with these people, because you feel it. You just feel that connection instantly. And you have people in chat saying hi to each other and just, you know, chatting. And I don't know, it's different. And I'm in a lot of different little containers. There's something very special about this one, and it really speaks to who you are. And I think what you're saying about the bravery in living with your heart open in this way, that is the invitation. And I think you're sending this invitation to every single person who is part of your support system, and giving them permission to also live in that way too, you know? Right. It's powerful.
Oh, I love that so much. Well, listen, you know, there's two things. First, the first thing I can see, and tell me if you agree, I think people are very lonely. Mm-hmm. You know, there's been so many cultural shifts that we're not leaning over our fences anymore. So people, and the person who lives next to you doesn't necessarily want to talk about what you want to talk about. Totally. So now it's like people are very lonely. But yes, and oh my God, we live in an age. I mean, we weren't doing this back when we worked together, guys. Mm-hmm. Like we can connect via technology and have the most uplifting, soul-stirring conversation that's going to change the rest of our day. And we didn't have to drive anywhere. We didn't have to make travel plans. We just did it. Here we are. Like the possibilities for deep connection and really that crucial support in transforming your life are literally at your fingertips. Mm-hmm. And I say this to myself, I will make use of that. I will make use of that leading edge technology in ways that serve me.
Yeah. We're always talking about how important it is to use technology with intention, because you can manifest such incredible connections and community through it. But as long as the intention is there and the intention is in the right place, and you're connecting with like-minded people.
Yeah. Well, it's like anything, my friends. You've got to be the programmer and the curator, right? Or it's just a, you know, a shit show. You know what I mean? If you're so just true. Opening the door and you wouldn't do that in your house. Let any riffraff crazy business come in. So why would you just leave the TV on? And why would you just let any old music come flowing in with any old lyrics that make you trigger you or make you like, why would you just be scrolling aimlessly, feeling worse and worse about yourself?
Right.
Yeah. You know, you've got to be the programmer and the curator. You're the bouncer. Who's in? Who gets to come in? What gets to come in? Uh-huh. And, you know, the sooner we all take that seriously as the managers of our own lives, the easier it becomes to choose happiness.
Yeah. Oh my God. I love that. I'm totally writing that down. You're the bouncer. Oh my gosh. That's so brilliant. Tell us a little bit about, this speaks to me on a very personal level. And I know it speaks to Sam too, because we're both huge travelers and we love exploring different cultures. But you just recently, I think it was towards the end of last year, you had your first retreat in Italy, right? An in-person retreat.
Oh my gosh, what a dream.
I want to hear how that manifested for you and just all the things. That is literally, it sounds like a dream to me.
Yes. And here's exactly what happened. I'm teaching my course, and one of the things I like to do is let's take a look at our someday list. Now let's take a look and make sure everything that's still on, not the someday list from 20 years ago. What's your new someday list? And how can we start moving things off that someday list into your I'm doing it, living my life list? Mm. And one of those things for me was getting paid to work in Italy.
Wow.
And that still felt active. And I'm like, okay, well, what could you do? Well, why don't I do a retreat? Again, synchronicity. This woman who followed me on Instagram DM'd me and said, hey, I heard you talking about, you'd really like to take some people to Italy. I know of a great 12th century villa in Umbria.
Oh, wow.
What?
I know. So normally I'd be like, like, you got to be careful. You don't want to be calling everybody who DMs you, but I'm like, okay, let's get on the phone. I ended up hiring her to put the trip together.
Wow.
And next thing I knew, I was off with 12 people in Umbria in this 12th century church turned villa.
Oh my God.
Creating this amazing experience that was every bit as amazing for me as it was for them. And it was, and we're having this soulful conversation in the middle of this unspeakable beauty.
Oh,
and
God.
So then I'm like, I'm going to do it again. So this May, I'm taking, 20 people to Tuscany. And then I'm going to go back to Umbria next October. And then I just decided I'm going to take a group on safari to Kenya in 2023. And really, this is just about me activating my own someday list. Like stirring the pot, thinking about it. Where do I want to go? This could be really interesting. This could be fun. And now my dreams personally are integrated with the dreams I have for my company. And it feels really great. It just feels so great. Like I came back from Umbria and I'm like, how did you figure that out? That was crazy. Like everybody left with exactly what they wanted. Wow. And everybody had an amazing experience, including me. So I got paid to travel. My travel was paid for. And I was like, okay, I'll do that again. And I'll keep, there might be different ways I might do it. Maybe I'll come up with something else. But I just realized that I want more travel. I want more new place, new sensations, new tastes. For years and years, it's like, oh, I really can't go. No, I can't go. The show's on. We can't really do that. And then I'd be so exhausted in the breaks that I wouldn't plan something 9 months in advance or a year in advance, like you really should. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah. So now this is, I keep it really simple. My company, what I'm doing now, very, very simple. I do the course twice a year. I have my private membership group, which is, 24/7. And then I do a couple trips a year and that's it.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful and practical.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's not so out there. Honestly, when you were talking about these places, like I was just getting full body chills constantly, there's something so special about that in Kenya. Oh, what a dream. That sounds incredible. And even as you're talking, I was sharing with a friend of mine yesterday. She was asking me actually, and I feel like this was definitely not a coincidence, but she was like, are you planning any retreats this year? And I'm like, no, nothing comes to mind yet. I feel like right now where I'm at, like what I'm experiencing is everything still feels a bit slow and kind of like I need to rest. And I feel things, it's like the bubbles are percolating. They're like underneath the surface. There's a lot of buzzing and bubbling, but I don't feel necessarily that it's go time yet for me. Yes. However, there's 2 places that have been really calling to me and I don't know how it's going to manifest. I don't know what is there for me, except I know both of these places hold healing.
Are you going to say it, what they are?
It's Japan and it's Kauai. Those are the 2 places that are really calling to me. And I believe I've actually just recently had confirmation that there's some past lives there as well. And Kauai in particular, I think is really, really,
so
it's
magical.
like, and it's calling to me in a way where I feel homesick. That's what it is. I feel homesick for those places. And I saw a vision of a girl dancing on the beach in Kauai, and it looked like she was either dancing the hula but she was dancing very like primally, wildly. And I felt that I was her, and there is just something in my soul that's just calling me to these two places. I have no idea how or what it will be like, or, I know for me, I don't want to travel.
Ellen, you've been to Hawaii, right?
I have, and Kauai specifically. I've spent time there, but I haven't been there since 2016, I think. Okay. And it's like, I know I want to go there as an offering. Like I know I want to do something, like a workshop or a work.
Perfect.
But I have no idea what that looks like or
well,
when
and
or how.
I want to lift up what you're saying right there, because I think this is really important. There is well-worn neural pathways that would have me trying to blow this business up into 12 verticals and this and that.
Yep.
You know what? I don't want to do this. And then I could do this. And then, and so I literally relish the bubbling up and no impetus to do something yet. Allow that to be inspiration building, which is why I identified that about myself. Because, I came back from Umbria, and of course you're just a font of ideas. And then I really sat myself down and say, stay simple, because here's the priority. How do you want your life to be?
Right.
Here's how you want to work. This is what you want to do. Here's how many hours you want to spend on that. Here's how you want your thing to be. And what does that allow for? And it's okay that ideas are bubbling and percolating. And that's part of the fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll know when it's time to move.
Yeah.
100%.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, Sam.
I was just going to say, I relate to that so much. I feel that. I love how you said it feels like you're homesick for it, because that's how I feel all the time about Costa Rica. I don't know what it was that called me there earlier in my life, but every time I go back, I'm like, there's something so important here.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a soul connection to that place. And I do believe that I'm kind of meant to go around this earth and do grid work and and heal within these places. And Sheri, as I hear you talk and your calling to all these amazing places, particularly Italy and now Kenya, I do believe that you are changing the frequencies and you are anchoring those frequencies in where you go with these people. It's so powerful.
Well, that's a whole nother layer I hadn't considered. Because I know the frequencies there change me. And the people who come with me. So that is really, really interesting. I'm gonna hold that. Wow.
The ley lines of the earth are calling you. There's certain points that need your frequency.
And it's like your
energy.
Key, I feel like each of us are keys for certain places. And for me, like obviously Japan and Kauai are on that list. And oddly, Sam, like Costa Rica has been really calling to me too, and I've never been there before.
Oh, hey.
Nor have I. I haven't been there either, guys.
All right. There needs to be something that happens. Yeah.
It's happening.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, while we're on this topic too of just like manifesting your dream list and I love the way you put it too, your someday list, that you have such a power with language that I think is one of your superpowers. It's like a gift. And I know that you've taught like a writing workshop and, you have this beautiful 5-day Design Your Life free workshop that you have so generously given the collective as well. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because I think there's writing in there as well. And I think it's like,
that's powerful.
Yeah. Your language is just so powerful.
Well, listen, and that's what I think part of the spiritual search is. What is your lexicon? What are the words that you can feel when they're said around you or you say them? It's your language. It lifts you up. And words are our creative tools. That's where we call down the thunder. I am. And whatever follows is a spell we're casting, which is why it's super important to focus. And, for years and years and years, I'm so busy, I'm so stressed, I'm so this. And so it was. And so now, I am magic. I am healed. I am present. I am conscious. I am excited. I am healthy. Those words are those little mantras that we create using our most powerful creative tools. Words end up creating our lives. So in the idea of life design, this is, I titled that 5-day workshop, that mini course, from a moment that Oprah and I shared with Jerry Seinfeld after a show or before a show. And we were hanging out backstage, and, we were complaining about, grousing about the schedule and this and that. And he's just like, why? It's yours to design. It's your life. It's yours to design. And I have held that. I've held that and looked at that like, like, wow, let me just keep thinking about that and thinking about it. So what I wanted to do was, what are some simple ways that you can begin to put a framework, a design to your life? And it certainly does begin with your language, with your words. What are your words? So, it's no joke for me. With every new year that comes in, what are the words I want to call in? What are those energies? And, last year for me, it was sovereignty and agency. Because even with everything I've done, running $1 billion company, managing legions of people and all of that, I still didn't feel like I was in my own sovereignty. Right. Just so eager to be behind the scenes and no, don't make me stand in my own light. And also I felt like the second word was agency, because, these are our lives to design. Yes. This is your gift. This is, your hands are in the clay. This is your thing to mold and shape. And you have agency. You have agency. So continuing to remind yourself that you aren't just blowing around like a leaf on the wind. Right. Your thoughts and your stories about yourself and your life are really calling in your life. And so you can stop right today. And this is the truest thing I know. Right today, you can stop and say, let me take a look at what I've created so far. Yep, did some good things. Yep, some things are good, some things aren't so good. And now that I know that I have agency and I am the manager, I am the designer, I can turn this around with every breath. Yes. With every breath, it's all within my grasp. And that is very, very good news.
Wow. As you're speaking, I literally feel it's like spirit or something. I don't know. I felt my whole body go cold, and now it's just like trembling. It's the most fascinating response, like embodied response to what you're saying, that to me just feels very like it's just truth,
It's your own knowing. Don't we all have this stored away?
Yeah.
That great moment when and listen, we're trying to clear ourselves so we can be a clear channel. So we can hear it, we can know it when we know it, we can hear it when we hear it, we can speak it when we need to speak it, which is reminding ourselves all of everything we already know. We're all powerful. We're all creative.
Yeah. And I think the agency part is so important too, because, after going through my own dark night of the soul, like looking back, it's like, yeah, I had the power to change that the entire time. Yeah. And I was the only one who could do the work to do that.
So true. So true. And when like younger women ask me, does that mean I can't have a high-powered career? And I say, no, just do it differently than I did. Just do it differently. Just understand that nothing comes before your own alignment. Nothing, and nothing ever can, or you'll suffer. You'll suffer for it.
Oh my gosh. I feel like you're like a fairy godmother. I just feel this like incredibly nurturing energy that's just so wise coming from you. And it's such a gift. truly.
Oh, thanks. I feel like it's a gift for me as well. It's a, like, if not now, when, but better late than never. That's what I say. Anytime I'm like, oh God, why couldn't I have, like, I'll meet somebody and they're like, yeah, I started my TM meditating when I was 16. I'm like, oh God, what could I have accomplished if I would have started then? I just have to remember, better late than never, babe. Better late than never.
And all those experiences that you had all led up to this point.
Right.
And I just, honestly, I'm coming to a place where I now feel like my age is my asset. You know what I mean? And it's taken me a while to get here. And I'm not somebody who was necessarily always, like, oh God, I'm turning 40. Like, oh God, I'm now 45. I'm not one of those, but I do find that now, like, for instance, I'm letting my gray hairs grow out and I've like made a conscious decision to do that because I'm telling all my friends, and my friends are just like, why? Like, why are you doing this? And I'm like,
I love it.
I earned every single one of these, and I want to, almost kind of like honor every story that each of these strands holds, and stand in my age.
That's so great.
You know what I mean?
And who's to say those brilliantly beautiful white strands aren't more beautiful than any other strand on your head?
And, I may change my mind totally, but, at this moment right now, as I'm speaking, I just feel like I earned my place, in a sense, with all the things that I experienced in my life to get to the point that I'm standing in right now, with the wisdom that I have that is going to continue to grow and expand. And
there's such a peace with that.
Yeah. And I just, I look at you, Sheri, and I just feel like, thank goodness it took you the time that it did to get to this point, because who you are now speaks and resonates in such a way that even a 20-some, 30-some, 40-some year old person, or 20-some, 30-some, 40-year-old Sheri would not hold,
That's true.
It's just so beautiful.
True. And it also, I will say, in my tender moments with myself, it really expands my understanding and compassion.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that you get to a moment and you're like, is this it? Because at a certain point, the life experience as we know it is set up around school, getting your driver's license, maybe first job, possibly getting married, maybe becoming a parent, and some other career stuff. So all the newness that our current structure can provide is very limited, which is why if you want to have an amazing life, you have got to take the bull by the horns, my friends.
Yeah.
You've got to put your hand on the wheel and plan it. You've got to plan your adventures, and you've got to expose yourself to new ideas, and you have to try new things. You've got to, and that's why that someday list can be really powerful when you activate it, because it's just a little tool to get some newness and some fresh energy and some new experiences into your life. And you must do that, because as soon as you're sick of that first job, it's like there's not, and the wedding is 5 years in the rear view mirror. That there's not a lot of new that's going to be coming.
Right.
Yeah. That's a really, really valuable perspective, I think, because it almost even puts people in a place where it's like, when you hit those milestones that everyone's been conditioned to believe are going to like create this world and this life that's going to bring happiness. It's the older you get, the fewer and fewer there are. And so it's almost like there's even more and more pressure on the things you should be celebrating. And then you lose sight about for the reasons that you're celebrating in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
so
I think
it's all about freshness.
It is. And that freshness, I call it fresh joy, creating those moments of fresh joy also makes your relationships better. It makes you not take things for granted. I have a lot of empathy for women who raise human children. I'm not one of them. So I can see things that maybe they cannot, which is kids age you. You know, their growth is happening right in front of you. And you're constantly being reminded that, you know, there's fewer days left. You have an expiration date, and, you know, they're getting taller and they're getting their driver's license. You know, it's all of a sudden, it's like your life is becoming relative compared to this budding blossom. And that's why you have to maintain your own growth.
Right.
Even as they grow, so you don't turn into a shell who's just going, is that all there is when they're 50?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that is so true. I completely feel that so deeply. And also as somebody who has not gone through the experience of like motherhood with a human, it's 100%. I see it with my mom. I see it with my friends too. Yeah. There was something I was going to share and I completely forgot. So it's probably not important.
Well, here's one piece of good news. One piece of good news that I really think the three of us will agree on, that we are in a moment in time where the opportunity for spiritual exploration is exploding.
Yes.
That's what I was going to share. Yes. Thank you for saying that.
Go ahead.
No, that's exactly it. It's, you know, the newness now for me. And I think with all three of us, the way we're experiencing life, because of our ability to tap in and our desire to stay connected to our divinity and to uncover the mystery and the magic in all these small moments. That to me is the newness that I experience on a daily basis now. And it feels like I'm being reborn over and over and over, you know?
Same. Like even since Ellen, since we reconnected, it feels like you're a completely different person.
Yeah, you too.
I know. So, and you know, I'm just saying there is something about this path that you're right. We're getting reborn and expanding at such a fast pace that because we are plugged into the authentic life force.
Right.
Yeah. I always felt like the most incredible thing about, even especially when I was just starting this journey, was like, oh my God, holy shit, anything can literally happen. Literally anything. Like the stories are endless. We have seen things we would never have believed before. And it's like, there's so much excitement in the not knowing, in the possibility, and just being open to it. And it's like, sometimes it's so crazy to me that everyone doesn't feel that.
Yeah.
I know, you know, to each in his own time.
Yes.
Right.
Because, you know, certainly there was some of this, I don't know. I've always been really jazzed about this conversation. I shouldn't even say that. Like, you know, there'd be, you know, Deepak's 7 spiritual laws of success. I was like, you know, eating the pages out of the book. So it was definitely, I was being called forward, but I think what we're talking about, there's a quickening. There's a quickening. I don't know what's happening. If, you know, the vortex is spinning faster, if there's a collective quantum call for evolution that we're experiencing, but it's going so fast. I can scarcely believe it.
Yeah. I feel it.
The same. 100%. Yeah. Sheri, this has been just
such a dream.
Yeah. Like so jam-packed with gems of wisdom and just, I don't even know how
talking to you both. I have had sessions with both of you. It's probably time. I probably need to do another one.
Oh my gosh.
See what's happening.
It's so much fun to work, especially to have the honor of working with people like you who you know, are on their own spiritual journey as well and doing the work as well, because it's like, that's where the real magic unfolds. Like literally anything can happen.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. I know. That's how I mean, that was my dream for my life, is to wake up and have that be one of my first thoughts. Anything can happen. And finally, I have reached and been able to maintain that space.
So amazing. It's so liberating, right?
Yes.
It's so liberating.
So good. You guys, I loved this conversation. It was so great. It was so great.
Thank you so much.
Great sharing this space with you.
We cannot wait to have you back again already.
I
We
know.
talk for hours.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
And
so the next time we regroup, let's have a real down to the bones, lay it all out conversation about plant medicine.
Oh my God. Let's get weird.
Yes.
I am so
This is the big promo for it.
Stay
tuned,
Absolutely.
people.
Coming soon.
Thank you so much, Sheri. And we're going to have your Design Your Life free 5-day workshop link in our show notes, along with your site, so that people can, and Instagram handle, so that people can find you as well.
Fabulous.
Awesome.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Music for Woo New is composed by Adam Miller.